can do as the owner.
Right.
That's your vision, right? The real growth strategies, things like that, things that matter, that only can come from your inner genius, right? You got to bring that out. Everything else can be automated, delegated, or eliminated.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Leadership Culture Podcast. My name is Chris Behnke, and today I am excited to interview someone that I just met literally today, but I'm super excited about. His name is Richard Walsh. He's the CEO of Sharpen the Spear Coaching. And this guy has got an amazing background, like incredible background. In fact, I got this little bio that I'm thinking of reading, but as I'm looking at it, it's got so many things on it. I think it would be better, Richard, if you just kind of launch into who you are and why it's important for people to listen to what you have to say today. We're going to get into some different things today about escaping the weight of entrepreneurship to some degree and some other things. We'll see how it goes. But Richard, glad to have you on today. Can you tell a little bit more about your background?
You bet, Chris, and thank you for having me on. I'm privileged, man. I really appreciate it. So yeah, about 35 years now in the entrepreneurial space, running businesses. I'm a best-selling author of a book called Escape the Owner Prison. I'm a U.S. Marine. I'm a champion boxer. I'm a black belt. I'm an internationally recognized steel sculptor. I'm a father of six, a husband and father of six kids, awesome kids. My oldest now is in the Marine Corps too, which is great. Just did a podcast with him and another kid. It was very cool. So he got to be a guest.
That's cool. That is cool.
Yeah, so I've done a lot of stuff. I'm, now CEO of Sharpen the Spear Coaching. We're helping business owners, find hidden profit, create freedom and impact in their business. That's the big thing. My big goal is helping 10,000 business owners create profit, freedom, and impact in their business to live a life they truly love. That's it. Well, in 08, 09, just for another highlight, lost everything. Like a lot of people did, but my whole business went under, lost my home, had six little kids, 4 and under, had to kind of pivot, if that's the word.
Yeah,
it's a little more than pivot.
It's a good word. It is a good word.
But it was a challenge. We can talk about that. But I've been through some stuff, Chris, and I've persevered through things, done a lot of hard things. I enjoy doing hard things. So looking forward to getting into this and kind of talking about those things.
I love that. I think that one of the things that I've seen a lot over the years is people kind of look at whoever's on the cover of Inc. magazine or whatever, and they'll say, "Oh man, like, look at what just happened instantly." Yeah. And the reality is that, you alluded to this, is that even the ones that look like it just happened instantly, like there is a massive, massive story of all kinds of difficult times. I've never found an exception to that. I'm sure there's some. I accidentally bought Bitcoin when it was $1, and now I have 10,000 of them. But for the most part, that doesn't happen. Even the ones that seem like things happened overnight, there's this tumultuous story that goes along with it. So I'd love for you to just jump in, tell your story. 6 kids, lost everything in 08, 09, business owner, Marine. That sounds amazing. And also, just the title of the book. The title of the book was what again?
Escape the Owner Prison.
Escape the Owner Prison. I absolutely love that. So let's just kind of start from the beginning and, just catch us up. What has happened in the last 10, 15 years?
Okay. Yeah. If you want to start from 0809. So my initial business, 20 years, I was a custom water feature builder, and I started doing steel sculpture as well. All of a sudden, I got international recognition doing world-class exhibits. I don't know, it's just being creative, and I'm pretty good at selling things. So I never suffered through the starving artist phase, Chris.
Right.
Everything I made, I sold. So
you leapfrogged the starving artist. That by itself is amazing.
See, so I did skip that. So, that was good. But it was combined with my water feature stuff, and I was really great at it. 0809 came, everything crashed down, November 5th of 2008. Lost $500,000 in that day, and just kept going off the cliff from there. So by early 09, the writing was on the wall. Didn't know when it was going to end, but it was pretty much, I tried a few stupid things to keep it going. It didn't work. And I'll tell you, I had one big epiphany that really changed everything, Chris. I woke up one morning, I now at this time I had six small children, 4 years and younger. My wife, right, we're losing our home, all of this stuff, right?
Yep.
So, but the epiphany was, I was thinking about my kids, and when I come home, they run and they attack me or crawl to me or whatever they're doing at the
Yep.
time. And one day I'm leaving in my truck, and my 4 year old is running behind my truck crying because I'm leaving. And
Yeah.
I'm looking at them in the rearview mirror, and just keep going because it's business. I gotta
Yeah.
keep things going. And I started thinking, I go, you know what? If I stay on this course that business is first, business is
Mhm.
everything,
Yeah.
right? Win the awards, get on the committees, keep going this way. I said, I'm going to ruin their lives. They're going to
Mhm.
have broken marriages, failed relationships, right? Maybe they'll be good at business, but all they, the saying, the more is caught than taught with kids.
Yep. Yep.
They're going to do what they see me do, not what I tell them to do.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
tell them all the right stuff, and
Yeah.
believe me, they'll primarily only do what they say you do.
Oh,
If you're
they
not
see right
congruent,
through all that.
oh
They
man,
see right through all that.
and it might be when they're 30 and they have a hard time.
Yeah.
They're going to default back to that.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
same stuff I
Yep.
was doing. So I'm like, man, I'm not going to do that. I got out of bed, went in the office, told my office manager we're done today.
Oh,
Shut it down.
wow.
Went to my construction yard, told my guys, wrapping it up this week. I'm not doing this. Didn't know what I was going to do. All I knew was
Wow.
I wasn't going to do water features. I wasn't going to do sculpture.
Come on.
And so this is 15, 16 years later, haven't touched one, haven't done one water feature,
Wow.
haven't done a sculpture. Okay. Now, may not have been the best way to do it. Okay.
that,
Because I
that's
had a
a,
lot of
that's an
equipment that I
abrupt.
could have,
That's abrupt.
but that's just the way I operate. I'm all or nothing.
Yeah.
It's just part of my personality, and it forces me. I'm a pressure guy.
Yeah.
Like I tell people who commission me for a sculpture, well, when do you want it done? I say, well, whenever. I go, oh yeah, that time doesn't work for me
Right.
because the last part of whenever is never, and
Yeah.
that's when you'll get it. Okay, so I say,
Yeah.
tell me you need it Tuesday, it'll be done. It'll be amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's how I operate. So we had to relocate, lost a home, everything else relocated, started over, had to figure things out. Didn't know what I was going to do. So I decided, well, you know what? I love training people, fitness training. I've done that for a long time. I was a
Yeah.
boxer and all that stuff, right, in Marine. So I went to Anytime Fitness and became a trainer. A little
Okay.
24-hour place, built a program there. We really didn't have one. Built it. Next thing you know, next year I'm trainer of the year at
Wow.
Anytime Fitness.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I'm an entrepreneur, so that means go open a gym.
Yeah.
So I went and opened a gym, boot camp style training, hired a bunch of Marines and stuff. We had a great time, just had a blast, created like a built system for body weight training. And it was really cool. That was good. Did that for about 5 years. Got into contracting from there, doing roofing, siding, windows, built that up, scaled that up, same thing. Then people started to ask me, well, how'd you go from all that 20 years, lose
Yeah.
it all, do this again? So I started mentoring people and helping them, which of course
Yeah.
turned into coaching because I'm an entrepreneur.
Yep.
Mentoring is free. Coaching, you
Yep.
get paid. So I
Yep.
decided to go to coaching, right? So I wrote Escape the Owner Prison, the contractor's new way to scale, regain control, and fast track growth while loving life. Became a bestseller.
Yeah.
I built an academy around that, started coaching people,
Yeah.
bringing people in and started helping them. And I've been doing that since 2018, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of brings us up to speed.
Man, that is amazing. I absolutely love the reality of hearing how you actually walked through it. One of the things I think is so powerful about hearing stories like that is a lot of times people find themselves in a situation, maybe they decided like you decided, or maybe they didn't, doesn't matter, but they find themselves in a situation and then it just is difficult, much more difficult than they anticipated, especially if they're an optimistic kind of person. They get into it and they're like, oh man, nothing is working. And then what happens, I think, is all this doubt begins to creep in. And being able to hear a story from someone like you helps them go, well, I don't really see how any of this can work. It doesn't seem like it's working, but I heard this podcast of this guy and he was able to do it. And then he's able to do it again. So he did it 3 times. So that's not an accident. Maybe one time is an accident, but 3 times isn't. So that means there's a system, there's a process, there's an approach, there's a mindset, there's a way of thinking that worked for him. So now I just need to learn what that is. And I think that is really super important because I think what we're facing right now, I believe what is happening, what's been happening last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, and what's happening now is a radical shift towards entrepreneurship. I think that a lot of people are just in fear of uncertainty and fear of AI and fear of all these various things. And when you're in fear, you're not thinking and you're not watching and you're not paying attention to the opportunities. And so we really, and what I try to do with people too, and I'm sure you do the same, is help them to see things differently, to like look through different glasses, to see the opportunities that before they only saw the problems. And I think stories like yours are so encouraging. As we think about leadership and from a standpoint of leadership, what are the things that you have found are the most effective when you're helping your clients go from where they are to the next level, but at the same time escape the prison of going to the next level?
Yeah, here's the thing. And just like you were saying, I started to see patterns.
Hmm.
These small businesses all doing exactly the same wrong things.
Right, right.
Okay. I mean, I was like getting weird. Like, how does everybody do the wrong thing? Well, it's easy. You're a
Yeah,
guy with a skill or a girl. You got a skill or a talent. You're a technician. You're this, that, you're a trainer. You go and do it. You
yeah,
just get paid more now because you're doing it on your own.
right.
You don't know about business. You just know that you didn't want to work for that guy.
Yep.
You could do it better and you started this. That's a high level view of like this is what it is. So you get going and you
Yeah,
work really hard the first 2 years. You wear a lot of hats. You're doing all the stuff. But next thing you know, 10 years goes by, you've repeated the first two 5 times.
yeah, exactly.
And you're on that hamster wheel.
Yeah,
That's the owner prison.
yep.
Business
And
doesn't go if
your
you don't unlock
biggest
the door.
goal is this incremental, tiny little improvements that usually bring with them the baggage of more hours.
Right.
And it's kind of a so what I'm guessing is that what you find with your clients is they have to get out of the mindset of just an exchange that so they kind of look at their business. They say, let's say I'm selling whatever, I'm selling glasses or something, and so last quarter I sold this many glasses and I did it with this way and this was my ad spend and this was my time. So in order to sell more, I need to go to all my knobs and turn them up. If I need to sell 10% more, I got to turn all my knobs 10% or more. And one of those knobs is my own time, my own hours, my own whatever. And so it's just kind of this incremental change rather than a different mindset. So I'm guessing that you come in with a different mindset and go, you need to step back from all of that, take your hands off all those knobs and kind of take a different approach. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, Chris, we have a goal it's called working on your 5%. There's 5% of your business that only you can do as the owner. That's
Right.
your vision, right? The real growth strategies, things like that, things that matter that only can come from your inner genius, right? You got to bring that out. Everything else can be automated, delegated, or eliminated.
Yeah.
Okay. So we get automation, right? We want to automate whatever you can, whether it's software, virtual system, whatever it is.
Totally. Yeah.
Delegation is giving work to others, but the big problem, Chris, is what people do is they abdicate to tell people to do something and they expect them to go do it and do it the way they're thinking they're going to do it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't work that way. We have to create
Nope.
a lane, create the system, the process, everything else so they can win, so they understand success on the day, the week, the month, the quarter, of the year,
Yeah.
right? Then you
Absolutely.
drop someone in there, then you can get an A player who's going to win. They're going to grab the
Yeah.
ball and run with the goalpost, but they don't do that. And then there's elimination.
Right.
And what they don't realize is one of the big things they need to eliminate is themselves.
Right.
Okay. Now, there's a lot of other things to eliminate too, but with just those three things, automation, delegation, elimination, that can start to transform your business
Yeah.
because now you have a purpose in each place. But really, the biggest hindrance, like you said, in a business is the owner,
Yeah.
always in the way,
Yeah.
100% always in the way. And
Yeah.
you bring in a guy like you or I,
Yeah.
and I have what I call outside eyes. I
Yeah.
can see everything.
Yeah.
First time walking, I see this. What are you doing? That it's very easy for me, and I'm air quoting easy,
Yeah.
right? But because I have no emotional attachment to this child
Right.
of a business,
Yeah.
right? But you do, so that's where they get hung up. So that's the initial coaching. Understand where we're going to go. Understand why,
Hmm.
because you want that freedom, you want that money, you want to make some impact, but you've been doing this for how many years and you haven't done any of that.
Yeah.
And that's where most people are. And
Yeah.
that can be turned around quickly
Hmm.
if you're coachable, right?
Yeah.
So,
If you're coachable.
Mhm.
If you're coachable. Yeah, it's amazing in the work that we do a lot of work with helping people understand communication, understand identity, understand how to identify the different ways that people communicate. And one of the things that we find is most entrepreneurs are either what we call an independent type, or they're a visionary type, or they're an instinctive type. So these are the kind of the most common. And all three of those types of people suffer from the same thing where they have, whatever it is, put together the systems and processes that are in place to do whatever it is they're doing. Like, so if they're selling these glasses, they got all the stuff to make it happen. And all three of those types kind of suffer from the same problem of, well, I know what you said is true, and I need to delegate some of this or scale it in a different way or something. But every time I've tried, it would just be less painful if I did it myself. So they end up taking it back. So they give it away for a brief moment in the wrong way to the wrong person, without the right support, without the right training, and then it kind of doesn't work very well. So then they take it back, and then they do that a few times, and they become kind of calloused and conditioned that it's never going to work. And then they kind of go back to the just incremental, try to improve by going 5% up. So when you guys do work with people, how do you break them from that? Because a lot of the talent that got them where they are also becomes the burden that keeps them from going to the next level.
Yeah. So there's a simple process we do. It's really easy. So there's really three columns. Okay. The first is called, the what, job functions, right? Here's all the things someone's going to do. So let's say you want to delegate a position, whatever that is, sales manager, office manager, whatever it might be. So you've got the job functions. That's specifically what they do. Could be 7 things, could be 17 things, could be 30 things. One thing could be 15 minutes on every third Wednesday. They send a report. It's a job function, right? But everything in detail is built out. Then the next column is the how to do that, right?
Yeah.
How to do all these 37 job functions, right? But another thing people leave out, and this is why the owners a lot of times end up taking back over control, they don't create the column for the training of the how.
Yeah. Right.
They say how, but no one's going to train them. There's no method to train them, no order. And that's where they really fail, because if they have all three of those, people are up to speed in 5 to 7 days in their position, understanding exactly what they got to do, expectations, consequences, right? Again, what does success look like? Now they can run. Now when they hand something off, that person can be great, even if they're mediocre.
Right.
Okay, because they're a worker. No one wants to come and build your business. They don't want to create your business, right?
Right.
If I'm a great sales guy,
Yeah.
If I'm a great sales guy who's a great closer, I'm an A player, I'm not coming to your hot mess.
Right.
Okay, I want to be dropped in the lane. I want to run. I want to close sales so I can make money and the company can make money.
Right.
And everybody will be happy. So that's where we begin.
So, so I love the all of the kind of varied background that you have. Do you find that, like, for example, how long were you in the Marines?
4 years.
4 years. Okay. So do you find like parallels for the entrepreneurship to what you learned while in the service?
Yeah, there's a lot of good things and some not so good.
Sure.
But yeah, absolutely. You're going to take Marine Corps is a life-changing experience. I mean, you go in as a 17-year-old like I did, life becomes different. Okay, so, you get it, but the takeaways are pretty amazing, pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
You learn, what you really learn well, Chris, is lowest common denominator. You learn how to dumb things down to the dumbest.
Yeah.
And that's a gift.
That is a gift. That goes back to the training that you were talking about, right? Helping your client, helping the entrepreneur, helping the business owner go, okay, all the stuff that's happening up in your head, this person doesn't have that happening in their head yet. So how do you get that onto them in a way that's tangible for them?
Exactly. It's critical. And so that's one thing. The other thing is structure and chain of command. You really understand that.
Right.
And most businesses don't have that. You have an owner who's an owner, but then he's a buddy with this guy. Maybe he's got a project manager over here. There's no chain of command. Right. There's no position of authority. There's nothing. He's so no one knows their place. And that's a good thing when they do know their place, because that's how things get done.
Right.
Right. And that's where you have order. We want an ordered business. We don't want chaos.
Right.
So we learn. So that's a great takeaway from the core as well.
So one of the things that's been the most profound for me, I've been an entrepreneur now for, gosh, like 20 years, and have had some things be moderately successful, nothing just like out of the park home run that you read about in a trade journal, but and then a lot of things that didn't work at all. We went through a similar story of just complete reset, total failure in our business that happened two times to us with two different businesses. And as I look back at those things, that was like such an incredible point of refining that I haven't really found too many people that haven't gone through a process like that where it was life changing in mostly a positive way, even though it was like a terrible thing. Like it's mostly a positive change. Do you find that to be true with this restart and everything, kind of losing everything process that you guys went through as well?
Yeah, I have now, I've had the advantage of 15 years now since that happened, right? But I can look back and go, I wouldn't change anything. My children wouldn't be who they are today if that didn't happen.
Right.
I see what they become. They're all in their late teens now, and one of the oldest is 20. And to see what they're doing, what they become, how they work, who they are as individuals, as
Yeah.
people, loving God, everything else, just putting the whole package together.
Yeah.
I'm like, never would that have happened if I had been able to stay on that same course I was on.
Yeah, that is amazing. I think that this is kind of a weird question. So do you think it is possible to go to kind of get to the place where you have the ability to see the landscape the way that you do without some kind of radical reset, without some kind of crash and failure in some kind of a business? Is there a way to kind of skip that? Or is it
Yeah, I
kind of a
think
requirement? Is it a rite of passage, I guess is what I'm saying.
here's the thing. You're always going to have failures.
Hmm.
Okay. Small ones, big ones, whatever. Right.
Yeah.
I don't think it has to be cataclysmic like I did.
Yeah.
Okay. To do it. But what I think you need to do, and if people are thinking of starting a business or they're early on in their business, I call it time compression.
Yeah.
That's what coaches bring. That's what help. What I didn't do, Chris, first 20 years of my business is ask for help.
Yeah.
That was kind of pre-internet for the most part. And
Yeah.
there wasn't like coaches every page you turned on
Every
the web,
five
right?
seconds.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I had billionaire clients trying to give me advice that I refused to take.
Right.
Because what do they know? They just own professional sports teams and manufacturing plants, and they don't
Yeah.
build water features. That's the
Yeah.
level of pride and arrogance that I operated at.
Well,
Wouldn't take any help.
it's kind of like, I mean, it definitely, I know I have the exact similar experience from the standpoint of, man, I look back now, wow, I should have listened to what they were saying. But it is there. So there's definitely some pride, but some of it is kind of like, well, you just don't understand because you like the resources you have, this position that you have, the ability to pick up a phone and have, whatever on the phone doesn't fit with what I am. So therefore your advice doesn't fit. But that's just not true, actually. Like
Right.
wisdom, I mean, sometimes that is true. Sometimes somebody's like going to give you advice and they just have no grid for what you're dealing with. But a lot of times there's like all of this wisdom that's embedded in. And if I look at my life and if I was like, man, if I would have just worked more on my discernment and like the filter of being able to say, well, this advice doesn't work. They're thinking that it will, but they're a billionaire. And so they can just, deal with it in a different way. I can't. But all the rest of this stuff they said is powerful wisdom that I could take into account. But I would throw it all out. So, what would you say to people that are feeling like, because here's what I think is happening with most small business owners right now. They're entering into this next year with a lot of uncertainty. They're reading headlines in Wall Street Journal or wherever they read on the internet, social media, that 95% of all the jobs are going to be displaced by AI in the next 9 minutes, which there may be some truth to some of that. And rather than think, well, in any kind of turmoil like that, there's more opportunity than there is when there's not turmoil. They're just kind of afraid and uncertain. So, what would your advice be to those people that are kind of coming into this year and they're like, man, I don't know, man, things are getting weird. I'm not sure what to do. What's your advice to them?
So, first thing I would say is like, well, you're looking to go into business, and I'd say, for what?
Mm,
Are you solving a problem? Do you have a solution? Have you seen an opening? Do you see something going on? Because if you
that's
have,
good.
and let's use AI as the example, like anything, whether it's a gun or it's AI, it can be used for good, it can be
Yeah,
used for
that's
evil.
good. It's good.
The good things it does can catapult your business.
Hmm.
It can change everything you do. It's amazing. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it may go bad, and yeah, people lose their jobs. Well, people, they don't make buggy whips anymore either. Okay. So
yeah,
it's like we get it, right? There's going to be an evolution. Now, we could spend a whole hour talking about AI. We're not going to do that. But I'm just saying, you got to, what problem are you solving? You
yeah.
don't go into business. I'm going to sell apples because everybody else sells apples.
Right.
Then all you are is a mediocre apple salesman.
Yeah,
Okay. And they can go anywhere, and all you can do is compete on price, right?
yeah,
The only way you win is to have the lowest price apple. So you don't want that. So you want to say, what's the problem I can solve?
yeah. That's good.
And you see that, that's what you start to address. You start going that way. Then that fear you had is going to become encouragement, because, like, man, the people really need this. I really
Yeah,
know how to handle this. Now you're in that, what they call the blue ocean. You got this idea, you can start to run with it. Now, if you've developed that idea and that solution to a problem, now it's not too early to get help, even if it's just a mentor. Know
yeah,
someone who's been in business, you'll take them to lunch once in a while. An hour of lunch can shave a year off your time in growing your business, right?
yeah.
Meaning
Absolutely.
that it'll save you costly mistakes, bad decisions, maybe even losing your whole business. So that's what I'm saying. Like, have something to work with, but
Yeah,
really start reaching out, listening, be on podcasts like this,
yeah.
right?
Learning.
Fill your mind with the good things, right?
Yeah,
Listen to other people's failures. That's where you learn the most.
yeah.
That's
Come
where you
on.
learn to persevere.
Come on, that's so good. That is so good. Okay, as we're kind of winding things down, what is the thing that people should be thinking about as we head into this next season? There's just we touched on it a little bit, but there's just so much change on the horizon. What should people be focusing on? Now, you already mentioned learning mindset and things, but what else?
You have to understand that entrepreneurship is freedom,
Mm,
okay? If done properly.
yeah, if done properly.
All right. Because it's not, you're in the owner prison.
Yeah,
Okay. I spent 20 years in it. Okay. That's a long stint. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So, but you have to understand that there's freedom there. Okay. Beyond anything, it's your ability to make as much or as little as you want.
Right.
That's why I did it. I don't like limits. I don't want ceilings. If you're that kind of person that can do that, it doesn't matter. The world's always falling apart. That's the world we live in.
Yeah.
So to be afraid of that is kind of silly,
Right.
because it's been doing it since the beginning. Okay.
Right.
So we have to understand, embrace it, see it. Like you said in the beginning, Chris, the turmoil, that's the time, that's when opportunities there.
Yeah.
Things are bad. You can see it. Look for those problems this stuff is creating. Look for a way to solve it.
Yeah.
Really understand that you have more opportunity now than when things are good.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, you should be a little bit keyed up. Like, there's good things on the horizon. And I will tell you this too, turn off the news.
Yeah.
I did a 90-day media fast in
Yeah.
2009,
Okay.
and I was talk radio guy.
Yeah.
Let's do it 10 hours a day, spent 100 grand advertising on it so I can be all the stuff, right?
Yeah.
90 days, I haven't been back since. And guess what?
Wow.
The world still goes on. They
It's
got
weird
along
how it
without
keeps
me.
going. It's
They
weird
got
how
along.
it's,
They didn't need me at all. I thought they needed my opinion the whole time. Here I
yeah.
was giving it to everybody, and I find out they didn't need it. And I really exploded,
Yeah.
because I didn't have that burden of all that
Yeah.
false. It's all lies. Come on, let's just
Oh,
focus
yeah.
on what you got to do. Stay laser focused, man. Make a difference. Get into it. Persevere. I mean, you're not running ignorant, but
Right.
those kind of things,
Yeah.
like that stuff, you got to push out.
Yeah.
You got to surround yourself with the right people,
Yeah.
who are on the same mission as you.
Yeah. Man, that is so good. I think that um the news and social media fast is super powerful.
It is.
Um, I I uh, I decided I read a thing. Gosh, this has got to be about a year and a half ago about kind of what happens in your brain if
Mhm.
you read news. It doesn't even matter what kind of news because it's like 95% all negative.
Right.
If you read news right when you wake up, or if you wait 1 hour, or if you don't read it at all and and kind of consume it in like a time boxed format once or twice a week for like, let's say 30, 40 minutes. They didn't say go zero, right? And after I read that, I was like, oh my goodness, like it radically changes your brain if you just wait 1 hour, and then it radically changes it again. It's an order of magnitude again if you just time back box it to a couple times a week. And so I just kind of stopped doing it. And it was really crazy because for the first week or so, you're like, I don't know what's going on. And then you realize, I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. And then you realize, wow, I can still stay informed by kind of checking into news sources that I like a couple times a week. And then what it taught me was that you can tell more what's really important because if you're checking it all of the time, and by the way, most Americans check every like 12 or 14 minutes or something like
Yeah.
that, which is crazy. Um, so if you're checking all the time, you don't actually have the ability to discern what's really true or not because you're just kind of getting a feed all the time. So your brain has no alternative but to just kind of accept the feed as truth. But if you kind of look at it at a week and you're looking like once or twice a week, you look back at the week, you kind of get to see all of it from a farther away and go, oh wow, they just talked a whole bunch about this one thing and that wasn't really relevant. And then 3 days later they found out it wasn't even true and then they're backtracking, and but you don't get to see that if you're taking the feed constantly.
Right.
And it really changed my life. I think that that is massive. I don't know why I went off on that so
Well,
much, but
well,
it
I think,
really changed
but
my life.
yeah, I think Chris, what you're saying on the social media fast, like I removed it all from my phone. I don't have any social media apps on my phone. I don't do any of that. I have a little bit on the laptop to post conversations like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all. If you go to my feeds, you just see podcasts and business stuff, you know.
Yep.
But I found that once you do that, once you free yourself from that enslavement to
Hmm.
this tool, it can be a tool or a toy.
Yeah.
You choose. What do you want?
Yeah.
You want it to be a tool or a toy? I
Yeah.
choose tool.
Right.
It does things. It's my calendar. It's contacting
Yeah.
people. It's texting, whatever. Right. So when you do that, you'll see, because business is hard work. Running the
Yeah.
business, whether you're starting it midway, been doing it for 30 years, it's never not work.
Yeah.
But distractions like that will keep you from succeeding.
Yeah.
This little
Absolutely.
thing that you never let go of
Yeah.
will ruin your business. I
Yeah.
assure
Totally.
you. It happens all the time because of the distraction. People like watching news before you go to bed. Last thing you put
Yeah.
on your mind was who got killed, who lost money,
Yeah.
it's mindset. That's a big thing, right? But it really is cleaning that out so you can fill it with the positive stuff, meaning
Yeah.
things that are going to move you forward in your business. And
Yeah.
there's tons of stuff on that you can put in place too. But you get the idea, right? It
Absolutely.
really is just understand what's going in your eyes and ears.
Yeah.
That's a biggie.
Yeah, and your brain's working on all that. So if the last thing you do before going to bed is you just see all this death and destruction, then your brain is all night long trying to solve death and destruction. The problem is you can't really affect any of that. So it's creating a frustrating environment at the subconscious level all the time. So if that's happening, like you can't focus on your business. Like
Right.
all of your cycles are spent working on problems you can't solve that aren't relevant and are likely mostly hyperbole anyway, so you're just distracted. So I love that. I think it's super good. So all right, last question. Um, so as people are coming into this next season, they're looking at it. What's the one thing what's the one thing that they should do different this year than last year?
I'm going to tell you, this is kind of a life lesson. Okay. Most people don't do it. It's three simple words. They got to do hard things.
Oof, that's good.
Okay. Now, it's not one time do a hard thing, it's repeatedly.
Yeah.
Okay. Do them in increment. Don't do one hard thing. Hey, I ran a marathon. And then what?
Right.
Okay, you did
Right.
that. Now what?
Right.
Like, what's the next thing? Because
Yeah.
those are the things that are going to help you persevere through your business.
Yeah.
Okay. Do hard things and read books of people who have done incredibly hard things.
Yeah.
I always say, like Ernest Shackleton, trapped on the Arctic ice for 2 years,
Yep.
brings 28 guys back home alive.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 years on the ice. Okay. Like, go read that. Then when your internet's broke, and you'll stop crying over little
Yeah,
things that
exactly.
matter.
Yeah.
That mean nothing, right? So fill your mind with that stuff. Read that. Go, hey, if they did that, I got like these first world problems,
I love it.
And let me share this real quick.
Yeah.
So we talk about first world problems and all this stuff. So I'm going to give an example I saw the other day on TV. Okay.
Yeah.
Saw a commercial. It's a Charmin commercial, toilet paper,
Yeah.
with these little bears. And
Yeah.
you know what the big thing is?
The softness.
When you pull it, when you tear off a piece, it's got this nice little curve on it. It's got this beautiful little easy curve off. Like, and I'm going, this is the first world problem. Like,
That
the
is
biggest thing that you got to worry about is how
for
the
sure.
toilet paper tears off of the roll.
my
Like,
goodness.
I mean, you really got it bad when that's a problem,
Oh
right?
my goodness.
So I'm just like, I love that. I got to get a copy of that commercial. I'm going to use it in my live seminars and stuff. Like, let me show you how bad things are.
Yeah.
Okay, this is how bad things are. People, look at this. Look what they've had to design
Yeah.
to overcome that issue.
That to that point, just last thing real quick, to that point, I think people they kind of look at the tumultuousness of everything and inflation the last several years and the uncertainty and AI and all the stuff we kind of touched on. And they're like, man, things are hard. I mean, they're not hard. Like, if you just look back at, I don't know, 5,000 years of human history, like, things have never been so unbelievably easy and amazing and simple. And the fact that you're in the central time zone and I'm Pacific time zone and we're communicating like real time and like that is so normal now. Even 15 years ago, not so normal. 30 years ago, not possible. 100 years ago, I would maybe never know about the town next to me, like, so things have never been so easy. And so I think, to your point, like, it's really important that we remember and take advantage of the situation that we're alive right now in. Like, never has there been more opportunity. Never has there been a chance where somebody could have an amazing idea, an amazing product, like, to your point, a solution to a problem, and have the ability to go out to the world and talk about it. That didn't exist 30 years ago.
Right.
That wasn't even an option. So we're living in the greatest time, I think, ever to be alive. And it is a privilege and an honor to be alive right now to do that. So my encouragement to them, to people that are listening is, take advantage of the fact that you're alive right now. If your heart's beating in your chest, you have an amazing opportunity set before you. So
absolutely, 100%.
awesome.
Yeah, just have the gratitude for where you're at.
Absolutely.
You were born for a time such as this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just know that, like, you got everything you need to do exactly what you're supposed to do.
Absolutely. That's so good. Well, thank you for putting some time into this. Thank you for the message, the story. Super good. Love the encouragement of your story and the things that you've gone through. Richard, what is the best place for people to find you? Is it sharpenthespearcoaching.com or is it your social? Like, what's the best way?
Sharpenthespearcoaching.com. You can,
okay.
Best place to go. You can get a ton of info, contact me, whatever you want to do, sharpenthespearcoaching.com.
Perfect. So I'll put, for those of you guys that are watching or listening, I'll put the link to the social accounts, but the website, that's the most important place to go, all right there in the show notes. So you should be able to click on that and go right there and reach out to find out more information. And also, can they get the book on Amazon? Where can they get the book?
You can get on Amazon, or, since I've had a really good time here, let's give them a gift.
Let's do it. Let's do a gift. I love gifts.
Okay. If you go to sharpenthespearcoaching.com, just send me an email, go to contact and say, Richard, saw you on Chris's show. I'd love the free audio version of Escape the Owner of Prison. And I'll send it to you.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. I need to get that myself. I'm going to go there and also do that. So we'll put that link. Definitely do that. Take advantage of it. Anybody that's listening to this that has any experience with entrepreneurship knows the whole prison analogy very well. So everybody that knows that knows right now they need to go get that book. So definitely go do that. If you're watching on YouTube or wherever, like and subscribe. Definitely share this out. Appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, definitely reach out to me. You can click on the contact info on our website, and hopefully we'll see you guys on the next one. All right. See you around.